Go ahead.
God is the truth. The truth, you're not God. There's only one God. It's the truth.
We were just having a conversation like this earlier today. Like, just talking about...
Speak right into the mic for me.
We were just having a conversation about this, something similar to this earlier today, just saying, like, the sun is above us. That's the only thing that we can prove. Right now, we were talking about the creation of Christianity and it being legalized in the year 300 AD, and like, and that. All right, there's other subjects that I just don't want to touch on right now. I'm just tired of touching on. So, but what we came to was like that. Just being, it was kind of like being present. About 15 minutes before service started, and he sent me a text, and I was saying, "Oh, maybe I should go to church today." But the general gist of the conversation right before that was about that, just basically being present, and that, all these other things are just opinions.
Absolutely, just opinion, right. Straight out of hell. Do you know God? Ye, your name Ye?
No, it's Ye, short for Kanye.
Oh,
just quickly, do you think that Kanye is an intelligent guy?
Yeah, I don't think he's stupid.
I think he's creatively very, very brilliant in terms of the music he's made. I've always been a big fan of him. But his brain seems to work in a very strange and scattered way. But anyway,
well,
yeah, he's like
when you're talking,
yeah.
to be fair, they're talking about a deep philosophical concept here, the idea of God, right? It's very, very difficult for people to verbalize what these concepts in their brain, to externally verbalize them is difficult to do. And people who are theologians and people who are apologists often take years of refinement so that they can convey these very thoughts. Like here, I'll give you an example, Jake. Can you just explain real quick, right, in 1 minute, the nature of God to me?
God is a timeless, spaceless, immaterial mind that is omnipresent and omnipotent, that is also the creator of all things and whose ontology is reflected in the world.
His ontology is reflected in the world.
Yes.
What does that mean, though?
It means the nature or the essence of God is actually the fundamental reality of the world, or like the optimal reality of the world.
I don't know. You're stumbling over your words already, Jake. All right. The concepts, when you're talking about these, you've watched how many religious debates?
Hundreds, thousands,
things like this. And even then conveying the message of the nature of God, right? Even if you have it wrote in your head, it's not so easy to do. So I'm going to give a little grace here when Kanye's talking about this idea of something greater than him, and that the only thing that he can prove or demonstrate is that the only thing that he could ever see is that the sun rises in the day, and that's about it. He's trying to convey a greater concept than himself, and that's not easy for people to do.
Yay.
It was like a nickname, and I
made
it be my real
you
name.
Keep changing it. I can't keep up with it.
My legal name. I know I'm here now.
Right. Your body is here. But what does that have to do with God?
He has me here right now?
That's for sure. But do you know him?
See what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, see,
Dude,
again,
you say it like this, it like makes Kanye look like the really smart one here.
He is the smart one here. So when you're talking about something which is revelatory, right? Peterson, that long pause, it's all designed like there's a revelation going on here, like Kanye is finally coming to something. But Kanye's right back to the same place he started. I'm not sure, right? He's looking for whatever this meaning is. What is the meaning of what it is that you're asking me here? You know what I mean? I'm still not sure. I'm not sure. Well, then you don't. Well, I'm not sure about that either. But, well, then you must. Well, I'm not sure about that either. You know what I mean? We're not getting anywhere here. It's this sort of Protestant Jedi mind trick. And I get so criticized for being so blunt when it comes to Christian ethics. I get criticized for not being nice, not being kind enough, this type of thing. But one thing you won't get from me is this kind of ever. You'll never get this kind of from me.
Kanye, if you ever watch this, you are welcome onto the Extravaganza. We would welcome you on the show. And no,
I've had so many. This is the whole thing. I asked my wife this yesterday. I said, I just started asking questions about how Christianity was made, and then we were talking about astrology. Then we we're talking about the amount of time that it takes the Earth to do a full orbit around the sun, and just looking for things that we all could agree upon as facts.
Okay, so pause it here.
And that's like,
So Kanye makes another intelligent observation here, right? He says, I'm just talking about this with my wife. What's he start with? The history of the church. So he says the history of Christianity that led to astrology. This is very common where people will start talking about, especially when they're talking about the history of religion. They'll talk about its roots, how there's some of it which is based in astrology or some of it's based in occultism, depending on the religion that you're talking about. He says we're discussing how long it takes for the sun to get around the earth. These are all facts, and I want to see if I can reconcile these facts into my faith. This is so common for people to have those types of questions. You know what I mean? To try to reconcile their worldview with their faith. It's not you saying something as vague as "Do you know God?" Right? Totally meaningless when you're trying to answer and reconcile those big questions with the question of faith.
True.
like less.
Yeah, you ask somebody like me in terms of my development, where I am at with these questions. Do you know God? It's basically a useless question to ask me.
Totally useless.
Yeah.
What does it mean? And the intelligent question of I'm not sure, in this case, Kanye doesn't even ask a question back in a good faith way. He's trying to answer, and he gives the best answer. I'm not sure. Right. But if Peterson asked it a different way, normally when someone says, I'm not sure, the other person will reframe the question so that it's more well understood. You know what I mean? Like, hey, Andrew, want some? And I say, I'm not sure. And you say, well, some of these potato chips. Oh, yeah, I want some of those. Right. There's now clarification on the thing you were asking. And now I can make up my mind. But why does Peterson go back to the same question, never diverting or offering any clarity? It's a trick. That's trickery.
Yeah.
And 24 hours ago to like this series of questioning right now, it's interesting to me, like how aligned that series of questions.
Because you want what's right. You want to know him.
Right.
And that's why you're asking those questions. So let me ask, do you want to know him?
Yes.
And how about, what's your name?
Alexander.
Alexander. Okay. If you want to know God,
Yes.
you got to give up all ideas about God. Everything that you've learned about him, everything that you've heard about him, every belief that you have about him, you got to let it go.
Yeah. So stop
And
there.
then you shall know him.
So this is what Peterson says here is a dazzling amount of meaningless, but it sounds profound, doesn't it? In order to know God, you have to give up everything you know about his nature, everything that you know about him from the Bible, everything that you've ever heard about how God corresponds with people in their life. And then, and only then, like some old kung fu thing, right? In the one place you haven't looked, that is where you will find the glow, right? Grasshopper, that one place you haven't looked. And when you look there, finally you can snatch the stone from my hand. It's a bunch of blithering nonsense.
Damn.
Because just all you have are beliefs and knowledge about him, and you're never going to find God with belief and knowledge. You got to let all that go.
How do we find him, Jesse? How do we find him? We got to let go of all belief in God and knowledge in God, and only then will we be able to actually find. What does that mean?
Full factory reset.
It means nothing. It's complete meaningless tripe. Unlearn what he's like Yoda, unlearn what you have learned, right? You must unlearn what you have learned, and only then will the light side available to you be. It's just the biggest crock of ever, dude.
You shall know him. To everybody, you got to let everything you know have heard about God, because it's just knowledge.
But okay, let me try and pose you this question. So Jesse is talking about, like I said before, like tongue in cheek, but a full factory reset. So he's basically saying like all of the worldly things that we've learned, all of the knowledge and everything, these are all things that are of the world. But if you go back to your basics, to your core, to your essence, then that's where you might find God, when you strip yourself of all of the external feelings and emotions and everything that are sensory inputs from the world.
Yeah, but that's not, listen, this idea that there's a unilateral way in which to find your way to Christianity is absurd and it's stupid. And true evangelicals know this. They know that people find God at rock bottom or at the highest points in their life. They know that they find God when a tragedy happens. They also know that people will sometimes find God through just pure logic and reason. They know that sometimes people will find, there's any number of different ways that people find their way to Christianity. I would agree that almost everybody at the end gets on their knees in front of the cross. That's true, right? And I tell people all the time, when they're on the path, you're going to end up in the same place that you started, right? Looking for this, except you're finally going to find it. The thing is, though, is that there's no wrong way to eat a Reese's here. People come to this all sorts of different ways. The idea that there's a single unilateral way in which people find their way to Christianity and the true church of Jesus Christ, which is orthodoxy, the true Christian church. There's so many ways people get there. In fact, a lot of them get there by becoming Protestants first, right? So are we to propose then that the right way to find orthodoxy is by becoming a Protestant, and then only after years of that will you find the right church? Or can we say that you could be raised in an environment which was conducive to that? Or could we say that you have life strife that puts you on a path to want to research this? There is not a single wrong way to come to Christianity and Christian ethics. And you know who said this best was Jesus Christ.
Mm. What do you say?
He said that Australia is fake.
I knew it, dude. I knew that's where it comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
All of Jesus's apostles actually dive into this. All of them. That there, when you're talking about the various ways, right, in which you find, like, think about Paul. Paul's dealing with pagans, right? Other apostles are dealing with other people groups, and when they're evangelizing them, they have to use all sorts of different ways in which to do that. You know what I mean? All sorts of, because these people are all in different stages of life, and they all have different traditions, cultural values. You couldn't just go to them with the universal of like, well, just unlearn everything you ever thought about pagan gods. It's like, no, that doesn't work. They have to reconcile these former beliefs with the new ones.
About God is not knowing God. Reading and hearing about God is not knowing God. You got to give up all knowing. God is not in belief. He's not in thoughts, and he's not in your emotions. You got to let all that go, and then you shall know him. My children shall know me by my voice, not by belief, not by knowledge, not by thoughts.
Oh, really? So do you know it's his voice? Do you know it's his voice then? Because that sounds like knowledge to me. Doesn't that sound an awful lot like knowledge? Oh, my children will know me by my voice. Do I have knowledge of this voice then? Yes, you do. Well, then that's knowledge. It's like, it's such a, these people are, and you know what this is? All of this, and it's so frustrating to me again, because all of it is what I consider con artist doublespeak. It's this, the idea is just to kind of move you into an unfalsifiable position and then say, well, you see other people who do this, that's how they find Christ. So you see, you can't falsify that this actually works. And it's like, well, but that misses the point, right? It's the point altogether. You don't have to unlearn everything that you've learned in order to come to Christianity, come to Christian ethics, and you just don't have to do that. It's just absurd.
Or emotions. What do you think about that, Alexander?
That sounds correct to me.
What do you think about that? Ye.
Oh, it's yay, but
I mean, yay.
also,
Yay. What do you think about that?
it sounds correct also.
Okay. You got to let it go. Do the silent prayer. Both of you start doing the silent prayer. Give it. Oh, you gave it to him? The silent prayer, you know how when you've been praying all this time, you've been praying to God, oh Lord, help me. And I'm just going to help my mama, bless my dad. And you've been doing that. And I want this and I want that. And you've been praying to the devil. But that's why you don't have peace, because you've been praying to the devil. God said to be still and know me. And so when you pray, you're supposed to go in, will it in your room or whatever, but go inside and become aware of the not you. You're not your thoughts, you're not your feeling, you're not your body.
Guided meditation. So now we're moving into guided meditation.
It sounds a lot like it, doesn't it?
Instead of guided liturgical advice, guided liturgical viewpoints from church fathers, from people who are trained in this liturgical document called the Bible to assist you in your guidance towards your spiritual health. Instead, we're going to move into guided meditation and stillness in the dark. And there, in the one place we haven't looked again, grasshopper, will you find the strength to take the pebble from my hand. It's so annoying, dude.